Whoa, hold on there. I was just editing this video, but then I remembered I have to say a special thank you to Atlas Vpn for sponsoring this video. Yes, this is what my hair looks like when I'm editing videos. For someone like me, protecting my information is really important since I like to just dip my toe in just about every aspect of the internet, and Atlas VPN encrypts your traffic to protect you from spying and nasty ne'er-do-wells hiding and using your IP address. It's incredibly easy to use. You just click where you want to be and boom, you're there. Just one click, done. And right now you can use my link below to get a 3-year subscription for just $1.39 a month. For 3 years, that's 86% off. You gotta grab it before it expires. There's a link down below. There's also a 30-day money-back guarantee if you have troubles with it. No joke, the fear of someone learning where I live and coming to my front door scares the living daylights out of me. I like to know that I have a solid layer of protection from that happening, and Atlas VPN provides that. But I have no doubt you have heard of Netflix, and how different countries get different shows, or how some countries will have episodes released weekly while us in America have to wait for the whole series to be released in order to binge it, so all your other friends online are posting spoilers because they've seen it, but you haven't because that's not how your Netflix works, and Atlas VPN fixes that. Or if you have friends like me who is scared that your technology is always listening to you, which it is, in order to give you targeted ads, with Atlas VPN, there's no targeted ads because it's not listening to you anymore. Don't forget this deal expires, so if you want to only pay $1.39 a month for 3 years, then click my link below. As most of you know, I'm a big fan of Generation 4 of My Little Pony. I made a whole video dedicated to it, you know, what happened to My Little Pony, released that a few years ago. You can check that out. And in September 24 of 2021, Netflix released the movie that is supposed to kick off Generation 5. My Little Pony, A New Generation. The title is not subtle at all. Now, when it comes to approaching this movie, I have no doubt that this is going to be an entirely new direction with the entire series. And there's 2 possible reasons why Hasbro decided to ditch The Last Generation. Most likely, they think they can rekindle more sales by getting rid of the old one and starting with a new one to get a new audience and give it a fresh coat of paint and jump out the gate strong with a very pretty CGI animated movie and some celebrity voice actors, and then eventually opt for cutting costs for maybe a TV show where it may be Flash animated, maybe not, I don't know, nobody knows yet. Or maybe they just decided it's been long enough since Generation 4 that they can start a new generation so that they can distance themselves more from the bronies. And even though that is not entirely possible, seeing as that's where a lot of their money came from, there is the nice part of if they do separate themselves from the bronies, they won't have to do this weird juggling act where it has to balance between making content for an older audience and a younger audience. And even though it's not a bad thing to be a brony, everyone does know that there is a strong stigma around just even the word brony, seeing as there was a point in time when you could get your car window smashed for having a My Little Pony sticker on it because it was just such a big deal. That was a wild time. Wow, we really cared about pastel-colored ponies, on both sides of the spectrum. But either way, I need to accept that this new generation is most likely not going to be geared toward the older audience and is most likely going to be pushed towards the expected younger audience that it was always intended to be directed toward. Maybe there's some references for older fans, but I expect those to be few and far between. And if they do that, I'll be deeply thankful and be able to go, ha! That was a reference! Surprisingly, the movie starts off with the main 6 talking about their next super cool adventure, and I love the style they gave them, but it quickly changes to it not being reality because they're just playing with toys. The one with cardboard wings is Sonny, and for some reason everyone in this world thinks that unicorns and Pegasus are evil or something.
You cannot just go trotting off, especially not here, because you are brainwashing their minds.
I leave all the brainwashing in Maritime Bay to you.
The fact that they have toys of Generation 4 characters almost made me believe that this was a pony-fied version of our world, and it's not, That's not what's happening, but the moment I saw that, that's what I first thought it was gonna be. Turns out that's definitely not the case. This is all in the future. It's still in Equestria, and Twilight and the gang are all historical figures turned into myth.
Good night, Daddy.
Good night, My Little Pony.
He said it! He said the movie title! There it is! Now we skip ahead several years to the day of the annual Cantor Logic show that Sonny is going to attend, and also her dad is dead. We're just gonna gloss over that? You don't want to expand on it? Okay.
Aha! There you are, Sonny.
Ignore the fact that I was standing behind a sign waiting for you. All normal ponies do that. It's a very normal thing to do, don't question me. Sonny's been banned from the show for a while now because she doesn't care about logic. She cares about Pegasus and unicorns. Turns out the woman with the outdated do built her entire business on fear. Keep the people afraid of unicorns and keep the profit. And as expected, Sonny crashes the show and tries to convince them to make friends with the unicorns and Pegasus. It doesn't work out well.
We're not in danger. It's all a lie.
How do you suggest that we defend ourselves?
Imagine if you had a friend who could
Fry your brains with a single horn zap?
And when she's sitting on a bench, moping, everyone starts freaking out. And from the depths of the shadows comes a unicorn named Izzy.
Is every pony playing hide and seek?
Ah, it's a unicorn!
So Sonny helps her escape and fills her in on the fact that Earth ponies are scared of unicorns now for some reason, and she fails, but there's a button on the outside that frees them. What an oddly convenient design flaw. Also, Izzy doesn't have any magic.
Sonny Star Scouts? Ah, that hurt. Come out with your hooves up!
Yeah, you're completely surrounded.
They do the only thing they can and ditch town. Apparently their magic disappeared for unknown reasons and they suspect it's the Pegasus. And then they have a solid moment to clear up all the misconceptions that they've been taught since they were young. All the misconceptions, all the lies, and all the fear-mongering, and they still don't explain why all three races were separated. Is this gonna be like a metaphor for racism or something? Or maybe xenophobia, which is kind of the same thing, but I think xenophobia is a more specific and more accurate word for this. Also, Sonny has 3 pins of Twilight, Fluttershy, and Rainbow Dash's cutie mark. They drop their cutie mark designs kind of everywhere. And I fully planned on seeing 1, maybe 2 references to Generation 4. However, I did not expect them to have it be set in the future of Gen 4 and still have all of Gen 4 be canon. I really wanted to make, that was a reference, to be a running joke in this video, but now I can't. And I'm not sure if I'm happy or sad about that. They decide to get to the bottom of all this and go straight to the Pegasus. And the feds are after them. And we find out that he has a sexy calendar of himself. Not sure I need to know that. And while he's away, the pony with the bad do convinces Sprout that he's now the new sheriff. I have no doubt she's going to manipulate him and use him for her own gain. Sonny and Izzy move their way up the mountain and meet a real-life Pegasus.
That's an Earth pony?
They have very tiny brains.
What do we do about that?
Turns out the Pegasus are the ones who advanced in technology the most. Zephyr Heights is a flat-out metropolis. And they get to meet the Queen of Zephyr Heights, very prestigious for prisoners. Oh hey, there's that one Pegasus they met. And the influencer princess does what they do and tells everyone that they're here. And Sprout convinces everyone that the unicorns and Pegasus are going to attack the town, so now it's time for mass hysteria. Wait, did you see that?
They're gonna take
That was a reference! And their new friend Zip comes to their cell and they find out all about the weird things about each of them.
Why isn't any pony flying? Every pony knows that only royals can fly, of course.
How do you convince a whole city that they can't use one of their own body parts? And the sheriff is hot on the trail of Sonny and Izzy, and his job is a lot easier than you might think.
The truth is, we can't fly either. We've been faking it.
That's better. That's a better explanation. Okay, I'm good. Where's the big bad evil guy? Who is responsible for all of this? When do we get the big fight? I'm ready for them to pin all of the problems on one person so that the resolution can be fixed swiftly and accomplished in a very reasonable amount of time, since that is usually what happens in these kind of movies. Also, they start finding a mysterious symbol in the Pegasus crystals and the unicorn crystals. And they start thinking that if they get all these crystals back together, they'll get their magic and their flying back. They use the hustle and bustle of a big show to sneak in and steal the crystal on the Queen's crown. We go full Mission Impossible. The mission goes off without a hitch, except their dogs find them, and then the sheriff finds them, and then the dog takes the jewel. Okay, so it went off with several hitches. And the show gets messed up, and Pip's wires are messed up also, and now everyone knows the royals can't fly either.
This just in. Queen Haven has been arrested for being a phony pony full of baloney.
Pip finds them with the crystal and is very angry and embarrassed. And they're also wanted for arrest. Wait, can they really arrest them for this? I mean, they're the royalty. Don't they kind of like have all the power? I mean, maybe a lawsuit at best, but arresting them? I ask this as if this is a movie that's supposed to make sense. It's literally about unicorns and Pegasus. Why do I care? And back home, making Sprout the sheriff is backfiring since now he's emperor and is making weapons or something scary. Big, bad, evil guy. Big, bad, evil guy. Big, bad, evil guy.
Let's get one thing straight.
Given that you have a sexy calendar of yourself, I'm assuming you're not. They make it to the forest with the unicorns, and it's more haunted than magical until you reach Izzy's house. And just so you know, Izzy is my favorite character. How can you not like her? There's so many things she says that could be used as a sound on TikTok. They make it into town and everyone doesn't share Izzy's upbeat attitude. They find one unicorn who swindles people out of their stuff, and turns out he swindled that super special crystal. And Sonny barters the Pegasus crystal, but the competition is a dancing contest. It takes her a minute, but she ends up winning. And then she messes up, and now everyone knows she's not a unicorn. They end up just having to steal the dang crystal and run for it.
Mom?
She's not a queen here.
Who do you think you are?
We're gonna zap you with our horns.
I'd like to see you try.
No pony has magic!
They put the crystals together and nothing happens. Defeated, she gives back the crystals and gives up. She goes home and starts packing her things, and oh my god, it's right there! She starts finding clues in her father's study and starts putting two and two together. And also they need to put it in this big machine doohickey. Wow, strong Tomb Raider vibes. And they find out Sprout is now a dictator.
Citizens of Maritime.
And he unveils his new war machine and starts war in Bridalwood. Sonny gets the crystals back, but Sprout isn't going to make it easy. And when the lighthouse starts coming down, they put the pieces together, and nothing happens. Again. Sprout conquers the world, everything is now a totalitarian regime, and it's a great ending for a children's movie. I'm not entirely sure I agree with the lesson for children, but I gotta admit, I didn't see that coming.
I understand now. It's not the crystals that need to be brought together. It's us. We can stay separated by fear and distrust, or we can choose friendship.
I know that time and chaos can, berid the world of a lot of knowledge, but I figure after so much time was spent with Twilight Sparkle learning about friendship and how it can be useful, and how it was all sent directly to Celestia, who is basically supposed to be sort of kind of like a god. You'd think all this knowledge wouldn't just disappear. Like, what happened? When are they gonna explain how this all happened? They're not gonna explain how this all happened. And when they put aside their differences, the crystals start doing their thing and lift Sonny into the air, finally combining to make her the new Alicorn. The crystals combine and magic is given back to the world. Except for Earth ponies. They get nothing. It must really suck to be an Earth pony. No magic, no flying, you have farming. That's what you're good at. It's a wonderful and happy ending. Just about everything I expected to happen in this movie didn't happen. And that's actually a great thing. I'm really happy they decided to have this movie take place in the future of what Generation 4 was, rather than just discard everything and start fresh. Because I feel like that would not only rub the audience the wrong way, but also it would just be kind of awkward. And it's clear they don't want to get rid of the core message of the series. Friendship is magic. It doesn't really strike a chord with me as much as Generation 4 did, but I'm guessing the reason is because Generation 4, when I started watching it, was more of a comfort show for me, and now I don't need it as a comfort show, and so now this just doesn't really hit me the same way, so that's probably more on me. Usually I like to focus on character arcs and themes and such when reviewing these kind of movies and shows, but I mean, this one kept it very simple. It was more like the world had its own character arc, and the theme is what it should always be. Friendship. The movie delivered on all the things I love about the previous generation, while also introducing fresh new characters that aren't just rehashes of the main six. And the humor in this movie is actually very well spread out and usually delivers pretty well. I actually loved the humor in this movie a lot. I think I loved this movie, actually. It succeeded in not only feeling the same, but also new at the same time. And I'm excited to see where this new generation goes. I mean, the first movie needed to really hit home if this new generation was going to take off. I don't think a lot of people really understand how much weight there was with this movie. This is supposed to be a reboot for a new generation, and after the previous one was so popular, that's a lot of weight put on the creator's shoulders. If it flopped, that's basically gonna be the end of the entire generation. But I don't feel like it did. And for whatever aspects of the story that wasn't explained, I fully expect there to be more installations of these either movies or TV shows that will explain what happened. If they don't explain it, then they become plot holes, and if they do, then it becomes intentionally left vague to expand on further for a long franchise. What are my dogs doing? Oh my gosh, guys, I'm trying to record. I also can't wait for it to reach the point where they make anime figures of the characters. I have several from the last generation, and yes, that is a real thing. But tell me what you think in the comments. Was this movie a flop, or was this everything you expected it to be? Unless you expected it to be a flop. In that case, was this a success like I think it is? Don't forget I have a Patreon where you can get monthly stickers and trading cards. Stay beautiful, and keep playing.